Howdy doody, my name is Cameron, better known as Venus Theory, and in this video I'm here with my friends at UVI to show you around the new Thorus XT. Thorus XT is a new take on UVI's original Thorus plugin with both digital and analog modeled Bucket Brigade chorus effects. Thorus has always been UVI's flagship chorus effect, and if you've used their instrument libraries or Falcon workstation, I'm sure you're already familiar with it. Thorus XT's new modes bring a whole host of new sounds to the classic chorusing effect, built on deep R&D into faithfully emulating analog Bucket Brigade delay and compander circuitry, bringing the sound of the most iconic chorus units, both analog and digital, directly into your DAW, but with the same multi-voice design and controls, meaning you can change between engines at any time and hear the result instantly. Thorus XT here works off a single-page interface, so nice and simple, and I just want to quickly run through the controls to show you the basic modes of operation. All the standard controls for the chorus are available here, with the speed and depth of modulation, as well as the number of voices, with down to 2 and up to 8 available. That means we can get everything from classic subtle chorusing effects like this, or cranking the voices and maybe messing with the modulation a bit here, maybe even turning on the wide mode, we can get those really rich, lush chorusing effects. Along the top, you'll see we have the switches for the analog and digital engines. Analog, of course, is what we've been hearing so far and is the circuit-modeled Bucket Brigade delay-based chorus, which gives you that really warm chorusing sound like we've heard so far. But we can also instantly switch over to the digital engine, which changes the character to that really iconic, clean, glassy studio chorus sound. And of course, in the upper right here, we have the mix control, so you can blend in the amount of chorus you want on whatever you're applying it on. Okay, now let's get into the more interesting controls. I'm going to flip back into the analog mode here, and we can start breaking these down. First up, we have the shape control here, which adjusts the modulation shape of the chorus voices between a smoother sine wave and a more glass-like triangle wave. I guess that's the best way I can qualify the sound of that. We also have the wide mode, which enhances the stereo imaging of the chorus by further modulating the voices of the chorus engine to give you this really rich stereo image. I'm going to up the voices to about 5 here, and we'll just A-B the wide mode on a single chord. Because the analog chorus effect here is fully circuit modeled, that means we get control of all the discrete parts of that circuit. And unlike a classic Bucket Brigade chorus pedal where you're kind of stuck with what you've got, we can more precisely dial in the amount of analog character being imparted in the effect. First up, we have the quality here, and this adjusts the clock rate of the analog delay, and if we go into digital mode, this is the sample rate of the digital delay. In the analog mode, this effectively darkens the chorus into something a little more warm and filtered. And of course, in the digital mode, it sounds more like a bit crusher. Then we have the edge control here, and this is a pretty interesting parameter to play with. Because chorus is a byproduct of delay, we can introduce feedback, either positive or negative, into the chorus effect, which offers a more kind of crystally clear type sound to the chorus. Along the bottom here in the analog mode, we also get a few additional controls for the aliasing, the stability, and the compander. The aliasing control here filters the signal with rejection and emphasis to control the aliasing filter's cutoff and resonance at the filter's cutoff point. This becomes a little more obvious as we adjust the quality, so let's tweak that and then play with it. Next up, we have stability, which adds the noise and grit that an analog pedal is known for. If you've ever used analog gear, you know that nothing is ever really perfect, and that's kind of what makes it great, and that's the whole point of having it. With this control, we can actually add circuit noise and variance into the circuit to dial in the amount of analogness, or whatever you want to call it, to the analog circuit emulation. Finally, we have the compander here, and companders are a fun little thing because they both compress and expand the signal, hence the name compander. If you've ever used an old tape machine or voice memo recorder, or maybe had a voicemail recorder that had some kind of noise reduction thing on it, it was probably a compander because they were designed originally for noise reduction, but it can also add a lot of character that's more obvious at kind of aggressive settings. I don't know, it's a sound that you know it if you hear it, so that's what this does. There are two controls here, once again, reactivity for the rate of the response and the ratio, which is the amount of shaping taking place. And as before, this becomes more prominent as we adjust the quality, so we'll just leave it where we have it and start messing with the compander. The last thing to really talk about here is the input filtering section. Here we can adjust the crossover of what's fed into the chorus effect. So if you're using this on something like maybe a bass guitar or acoustic guitars or a synth or a drum bus and overheads or maybe some background vocals or some other application where you only want certain frequencies passing through the chorus, this is where we can do this to adjust both the crossover and the low band's gain to compensate for any volume changes. Now, we haven't really talked about presets quite yet, and I actually wanted to save that for last year because Thorus XT introduces this new interactive preset browsing system that I think is pretty neat. When we open the preset menu here, you'll see the presets are organized by their application for things like bass, guitar, voice, and so on. But what I think is particularly clever here is when you audition a preset, we can just click one of these here, you'll notice along the bottom we can see the core controls for the effect, the speed, depth, voices, quality, and edge. So when we are playing with presets, we can actually adjust these controls in real time. If I just play something here, let's say I like that, but I don't want as much modulation. I could drop that down. Maybe the feedback's a little high and the voice count's a little high. And there we go, we're good. We can close out of that and then we have access to the rest of the parameters for that preset. But as you go around, all of the presets feature these core controls, so you can find something you like, tweak it a little bit as needed, and get to work. Thorus XT has a lot of different presets meant for a lot of different applications, so for the sake of demoing them here, why don't we just grab some toys from around my studio and give them a shot. That's it for this video. Thorus XT is available now either as a standalone product or as part of UVI's Sonic Pass. If you want to check it out for yourself or find more information, you could do so with the links down in the description below, and we're done. So thanks to UVI for having me on the channel as always, and thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something, and of course, as always, I hope this inspires you to get out there and make something awesome.